Good morning, HMS 7. It's great to see everyone back here on a Monday, start of second trimester. Friendly reminder that your schedules will be available in your homeroom. For the most part, you won't have a ton of schedule changes, but some electives will change and some fourth periods will change. Please make sure you get those schedules from your teachers in your homerooms today. If you have any questions on whether or not or where to go, please talk to your homeroom teacher. Once again, purpose of Jumpstart here is to talk about the 7 habits of highly effective teenagers and highly effective people in general. The habit of the month of November is beginning with the end in mind, but again, these 7 habits that we like to talk about each and every single day when we do a Jumpstart are skills. These are not something that you're born with, these are skills that you can work to develop. Again, if we think about success and we think about being able to do something right, it's a skill that you develop over time. This isn't something that you're born with. It isn't a talent that you're born with. It's a skill. Anything that's successful, intelligence, when they say he or she is a genius, you're not born that way. Right there at the top of the picture, 29% of that, if you break this down into percentages, nearly 29% of this is hard work. That's what perspiration means. That's hard work. 15% exploration. If you ask me, one of the most important characteristics of a learner is to be curious. It doesn't take natural intelligence to be curious about things, to explore things. Imitation, finding things that are done really well, maybe copying them a little bit, then making them a part of your own. Also, desperation. And also within there, daily frustration. Part of being successful, part of becoming intelligent or growing academically is going to be daily frustration. You will see more growth through daily frustration than you will through things that come easy. Again, 7 habits that are practiced, developed over time, not something that you're born with. Important to remember, what does that phrase mean, beginning with the end in mind? Why is it important to begin with the end in mind? Again, as we've talked over the last couple of weeks, it means that you have a set of values and you have a path, that you're the driver of your life. I'm not asking you to pick your future mate. I'm not asking you to pick where you go to college, but I am asking you with that quote to think about something bigger than just today. Think of something outside of just today. Set that value, set that goal, and that why. There's a lot of whys. But most importantly, if you don't choose that path, someone else will. Just think about rolling into one of your classes first period. If you show up in there and just passively absorb the information. Oh, this teacher, this is all I want from him today. You're not the driver. If you show up in there ready to learn, if you show up in there ready to ask questions, you're now the driver of your learning. But if you go in there and just passively accept all the information being thrown at you, and you don't ask questions, and you don't actively participate, you're not beginning with the end in mind. That's why it's so important. You become the driver, you make the decisions on your learning, rather than just sitting there and taking. Ask questions, be active with what you do. Again, we gave you an example the other day of beginning with the end in mind. Dave and John created a clothing company known as FUBU, for us, by us. He began with an end in mind. His end goal, when he saw those ski caps being produced for way more money than he thought they needed to be produced and sold, was to become a fashion designer. You know what? I can put together a great fashion line at a cheaper price and make a living on this. He thought about this as a middle school kid. And then he worked to develop that goal. He got a job at Red Lobster. I know you guys don't know what Red Lobster is. We used to have one here in Hutchinson. Man, I loved it. It's a restaurant. Moral of the story here, he got himself a job. He used the money from that job to buy fabric to make clothing, and then eventually launched it into a wonderful clothing line in the 1990s, eventually sold it. Net worth, a couple $100 million. Beginning with that end in mind. Having the discipline. Being the driver in your life. He exemplified that through the clothing line that he started. Again, as we close out here on this Monday, I ask you, I beg you to show up in your classes and be the driver of your class, not through your behavior, but through asking questions. You have a remote in your hand every day. It's called raising your hand. I don't understand this. Could you help me? Could you help me? Again, that makes you the driver. That doesn't make you passively sitting there. Ask questions. Put in extra time. Be the driver of your life, because if you won't be the driver of your life, someone else will drive for you. Begin with that end in mind. And once again, if you haven't completed it, please continue to work on the Great Discovery. It's a good way to think about beginning with the end in mind, because if you go through those 10 questions, it hopefully creates some awareness on an end that you might be looking for. Again, I'm just asking you to think outside today. I'm not asking you to think about who your future wife or husband's going to be. I'm not asking you where you're going to go to college. I'm asking you to think about something bigger than today. It's great to see everybody back here on a Monday. We love you. We'll see you throughout the day. I'll see you again up here on Wednesday.